I've been obsessed with solving the mystery of Copa for years because his disappearance from the Lion King canon has always felt like a huge plot hole. If Simba and Nala had a son in the books who was meant to be the heir to Pride Rock, where did Copa go? As a longtime fan, this question haunted me. After researching every possible Lion King theory, I discovered something that changed everything. What if Copa wasn't killed by Zira, but was actually saved by another lioness? What if he grew up far away not knowing he was the rightful heir to Pride Rock? This adoption theory explains so many inconsistencies in the movies, and today I'll share the hidden clues that point to a secret Disney never fully explored about Simba's firstborn son. Those eyes belong to Shabaha, a lioness caught between two impossible choices: remain loyal to her pride or save an innocent cub's life. While everyone believes Copa died that day, what if the prince's story didn't end in blood and tears, but instead took an unexpected turn that would change everything we thought we knew about Simba's firstborn? Shabaha held a special position in Zira's pride as one of her closest confidants. This role granted her unique insights into her leader's mind while burdening her with terrible knowledge. For moons, she had watched as Zira's obsession with revenge consumed her, transforming grief into something dark and dangerous. Shabaha knew the truth about Scar's death, that he brought his fate upon himself by betraying his own pride, but fear kept her silent. Speaking against Zira meant certain banishment or worse when surrounded by others who shared their leader's vengeful desires. Hidden among tall grasses near the border, Shabaha witnessed the unthinkable. She had been hunting when a cub's playful calls drew her closer. From her concealed position, she watched as Zira's friendly demeanor transformed into rage, making the innocent prince the target of years of festering hatred. Her heart pounded against her chest, her paws trembling in the dirt as Copa's desperate cries mixed with Zira's vengeful growls. Her path forward stood clear as a fork in a dusty savanna road. Act now or live forever with her shame. When Zira finally left, believing her revenge complete, something broke free inside Shabaha, a courage she never knew existed. Her legs carried her to Copa's side before her mind fully processed her decision. She found him barely clinging to life, golden fur matted with blood, breathing shallow and irregular. With gentle jaws, she lifted the prince's broken body, knowing she could never return to Zira's pride. Not after what she'd witnessed, not after what she chose to do. The journey away from the Pride Lands tested every limit. Shabaha carried Copa with motherly gentleness, stopping only to lap water into his parched mouth or rest when her strength faltered. Behind every rock and tree might lurk one of Zira's loyal followers. She traveled mostly at night, using stars to guide her toward distant lands beyond Zira's reach. After days of exhausting travel, they reached a lush jungle far from both the Pride Lands and barren outlands. Among dense vegetation and plentiful water, Shabaha created a den beneath an ancient tree's roots. She cleaned Copa's wounds with her rough tongue and brought tender meat morsels when he was too weak to hunt. Nights found her curled protectively around him, her warmth fighting off fever chills. Gradually, against all odds, the prince began to heal. The jungle became their sanctuary. Far from Pride Land's politics, Shabaha found peace as Copa's protector. Their bond strengthened daily as she taught him to hunt in a forest where prey hid among thick foliage rather than open savanna. Though Copa's body healed, his memories of royal past faded like morning mist under hot sun. A blessing in disguise, Shabaha thought, as remembering would only bring pain. While Copa's body healed in their jungle sanctuary, his mind underwent a transformation more profound than his physical recovery. Young lions, when separated from their birth pride, can completely forget their early cubhood, with memories fading like paw prints after a heavy rain. For Copa, those vague dreams of a massive rock formation and golden lions were fragments of his true identity struggling to surface through layers of forgotten memories, like buried seeds waiting for the right season to emerge. The jungle became their classroom where Shabaha passed down everything she knew. Her hunting techniques, refined through years under Zira's supervision, transformed into lessons of survival rather than preparation for war. "Stay downwind of your prey," she would whisper as they stalked through dense underbrush. "Move like the shadows between the trees." She taught him to navigate the tangled vines so different from the open savannas where he was born. What made these lessons remarkable was how quickly Copa adapted. His senses sharpened beyond what Shabaha had anticipated. He could detect prey scents from incredible distances. "I can smell the difference between the old gazelle and the young one," he would say, eyes bright with pride as Shabaha nodded in approval. His hearing became so acute that he could distinguish between harmless leaf rustles and the deliberate movements of potential prey. As seasons passed, Copa developed a hunting style that blended Shabaha's teachings with instincts that seemed to come from his royal bloodline. He became particularly skilled at ambush hunting, using the jungle's vegetation as cover while demonstrating remarkable patience. His golden body would remain perfectly still among the foliage, only his eyes tracking his prey's movements until the perfect moment. Their life wasn't just about survival. In quiet moments, Shabaha would groom his growing mane, just as she had once cleaned his wounds. For Shabaha, who had never had cubs of her own, Kopa filled a void she hadn't realized existed. She found herself telling him stories at night, carefully edited tales of brave lions, never mentioning Pride Rock or a certain golden king. Copa looked at Shabaha with the complete trust and love that only a son can have for his mother. "Tell me again about how you found me," he would ask, and Shabaha would share her constructed story about finding an abandoned cub, never revealing the brutal attack or his royal lineage. Their territory expanded as Copa grew stronger. Other predators learned to give the unusual pair a wide berth. When Copa's roar finally developed, it echoed through the trees with such force that birds would take flight in startled clouds. Shabaha sometimes heard something familiar in that sound, something that reminded her of the distant Pride Lands, but she quickly pushed such thoughts away. Copa's powerful roar that sent birds scattering across the jungle wasn't just echoing through the trees, it was traveling across the savannah on the winds themselves. While Shabaha pushed away thoughts of the Pride Lands whenever they surfaced, those same winds were carrying secrets to someone who could recognize them immediately. Far away, as Zira meticulously trained Kovu for his deadly mission against Simba, something extraordinary was happening in an ancient baobab tree. Rafiki, the wise old mandrill who had served generations of Lion Kings, suddenly paused during his morning meditation. His weathered hands froze mid-movement as his nostrils flared. He closed his eyes and lifted his head, allowing the peculiar breeze to wash over him. This wind carried more than just a scent. It brought fragments of memories, echoes of a past thought lost forever. The distinct royal scent belonged to someone who should no longer exist. "It cannot be," he whispered to himself, his fingers trembling. "The winds do not lie to old Rafiki," he added, invoking the ancient wisdom that had guided royal advisors through countless generations. After consulting with the spirits and studying the cub painting beside Simba and Nala in his tree home, Rafiki knew his duty. He gathered supplies and his trusty staff, departing the Pride Lands just as tension between Simba's pride and Zira's outsiders approached its breaking point. Like the wise elders of ancient tales, Rafiki followed the mysterious scent through plains, mountains, and finally into dense jungle. One morning, following distinctive paw prints near a stream, he heard a deep growl. There stood a magnificent golden lion with a rich mane catching the dappled sunlight. Though he'd never seen this grown lion, Rafiki recognized the strong jawline, proud stance, and eyes combining Nala's wisdom with Simba's intensity. "Copa," Rafiki whispered, his voice barely audible. The lion's head snapped up. "Who are you, and what did you call me?" "I called you by your true name, young prince," Rafiki replied, approaching slowly. "I am Rafiki, royal advisor to the kings of Pride Rock, to your father, King Simba." Copa tensed. "My name isn't Copa. I don't know any Simba. My mother is Shabaha, and we've lived here since I was a cub." Sitting cross-legged on a rock, Rafiki described Pride Rock with details that made Copa's eyes widen in recognition. He spoke of his parents' joy at his birth and gently explained the day everyone believed Copa had died. "These are memories, your memories, buried deep but not lost," Rafiki explained. "The winds brought your roar to me." Copa paced anxiously. "You're saying everything I know is a lie? That Shabaha isn't really my mother?" "No," Rafiki corrected. "Shabaha is truly your mother by choice and love. She saved you when no one else would, but there is more to your story." When Copa demanded proof, Rafiki created a glowing image showing Simba, Nala, and a cub with Copa's exact markings. "You have your father's voice," Rafiki explained, "and your mother's gaze. You are their son, the rightful heir to Pride Rock." The revelation explained Copa's mysterious dreams, his comfort in stargazing, and his knowledge of hunting techniques Shabaha never taught him. The truth of Copa's heritage finally explained his strange dreams and instincts, but now he faced an impossible choice: stay stay hidden in the safety of the jungle, or return to a kingdom that believed him dead and confront the very lioness who tried to kill him when the entire Pride Lands hung in the balance. Copa and Shabaha raced across the savannah, his mind racing with questions. What would happen when he arrived? Would anyone even recognize him? The winds carried sounds of battle ahead. Rafiki had warned them about Zira's assault on Pride Rock, but the reality hit Copa harder than he expected when they reached the final hill. Below them, two lion prides fought violently. In the center, a golden lion, his father Simba, struggled to stand as Zira circled him with murderous intent. Blood matted Simba's mane. "That's your father," Shabaha whispered, "and that's Zira, the one who tried to kill you." Something awakened inside Copa, a duty he instantly understood. With a roar that silenced the battlefield, he bounded down the hillside. "This is where I belong," he thought. Just as Zira lunged for Simba's throat, Copa intercepted her, sending her tumbling backward. He stood tall, his golden mane catching sunlight, mirroring Simba. Everyone stared in shocked silence. "Impossible," Zira gasped, eyes wide with horror. "You're dead! I killed you myself!" Vitani pushed through the crowd, studying Copa's face. "Copa," she whispered, stepping closer. Their eyes locked, childhood friends separated by violence. She turned to Zira, her voice hardening. "Mother, you told us he ran away. You said Simba drove him out." Her expression changed as truth dawned on her. "But you tried to kill him, didn't you? Your revenge was built on lies." Several outsiders followed Vitani to stand beside Copa, seeing the truth in Zira's horrified face. "My son," Simba's voice broke. He stood frozen, as if afraid Copa might vanish again. Nala approached cautiously, studying every feature of his face. "We mourned you," she whispered, circling him, breathing his scent. She pressed her head against his, tears welling in her eyes. "For years, I've dreamed of this. This is Kiara, your sister," Simba explained, "and your brother Kian leads the Lion Guard." "I have siblings?" Copa looked at Kiara with wonder. "I never knew." Shabaha hung back uncertainly until Copa moved beside her. "This is Shabaha," he announced. "She saved my life and raised me. Without her, I wouldn't be here." Only Zira remained fixed in her hatred, backed by few followers. "Will you take the throne from your sister now? The rightful heir returns." Copa looked at Kiara, seeing the leadership she possessed. "The Pride Lands don't need me as king," he replied. "They have Kiara. My place is protecting the kingdom, not ruling it." In the days that followed, healing began. Vitani formed a new Lion Guard with Shabaha serving as its bravest member. Copa and Vitani rebuilt their interrupted friendship, spending long hours together as their connection deepened into something more. For years, fans have wrestled with the mystery of Copa, creating elaborate theories about his story and what his existence means for the Lion King universe. Maybe Copa wasn't simply forgotten in Disney's transition to the sequel, but represents something deeper, a narrative thread weaving through the background of everything we've seen on screen. What if his journey of survival and homecoming was always meant to run parallel to the stories we know? The real power of Copa's story is how family transcends biology. Shabaha's choice to save and raise this cub demonstrates that family forms through love and sacrifice. When you watch any Lion King movie, imagine Copa there beyond the frame, like a hidden reflection that transforms the entire landscape when revealed. His untold journey invites us to discover our own hidden chapters in these familiar stories, asking what secrets might lie just out of view.